أنا عازم على أن أكون طبيبا. Assalamu alaikum everybody, this is your Arabic teacher Sam and a very warm welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's lesson we're just going to be going over a little phrase, and I want to start just by thanking our brother Hamza over at Taqweem Institute, because he has this really awesome little series on his Facebook and on his Instagram where he just does a word of the day, and this is a little phrase that I took from it, and I thought that we would break it down together, we'd look at the individual words in it, and I've actually tweaked it a little bit as well. I'll show you where I've tweaked it, but I've done it just for our purposes, but so without further ado, let's get into it. So what is this phrase? It begins with ana azimun, and the word azim was actually the word of the day that that our brother Hamza was demonstrating, but we're going to go through the whole phrase. So ana azimun, what does it mean? So to be azim means to be determined towards something. Azim, it's obviously in the fa'ilun pattern. It's an active participle. It's the doer of the azama. So ana azimun, I am determined. And whenever you use that verb, whenever you say azim, you say ala something. You are determined to do something, but in Arabic you kind of say you're determined upon something. So you say ana azimun ala, and that's kind of be determined to do something. So ana azimun ala an. I particularly wanted to demonstrate this phrase because we don't often think about prepositions coming before an. An just means that. And in English, it's not a very English turn of phrase for us to say, I'm determined to that. But in Arabic, it is very normal, right? You can absolutely do it. So, I am determined to akuna. I am determined to be. This verb kana, yakunu, is a really, really useful verb. I mean, it's the closest that Arabic has for a verb meaning to be something. And in this case, it just does mean to be. I mean, Arabic usually has some things that you can do to kind of hide the verb to be. You can kind of have a mismatch in definiteness in words sometimes. Like, you can say something like, ar-rajulu, the man, tawilun, is a tall one, right? And that's how you say the man is tall. But, if you are going to use a verb meaning to be, it will always be the verb kana. So this is saying, ana azimun ala an akuna. I am determined that I will be, or I am determined to be. Could have just as easily, the sentence could have just as easily used the verb to become something. Ana azimun ala an usbiha. I'm determined that I will become, using the verb asbaha. And then last, our brother Hamza, he used the word tayyaran, I believe, meaning a pilot, but I changed it to be tabiban. It's more common, I think, but definitely here in the UK, with Muslims who live here in the UK, it's more common that they want to be doctors than pilots. There are only like a few careers that sometimes people's parents accept. It's like doctor, engineer, lawyer, and then like accountant if you must. In like traditional houses, that's often the case. I remember when I was a primary school teacher, I had to deal with loads of parents who desperately just wanted their kids to be doctors. But anyway, so a tabib is a doctor. Tabiban. Why is it tabiban? Well, it's because kana and asbaha also follows this rule that we won't go too much into the technical details, but the thing that you are being, or the thing you are becoming, will be what we call in Arabic mansoob, which usually means it has fathas on the end, right? Which is why it's akuna tabiban, or usbiha tabiban. And it would have been tayyaran as well. It would have had those fathas on the end as well, because kana and asbaha and the verb laysa, and there's a list of other verbs. If you're on the Arabic in 60 Steps program, step 10, we go through all of that. But very nice, okay, so that's how you'd say, I am determined to be a doctor. But what about for the women out there, right? Because obviously we have masculine and feminine, we have gender in Arabic. So what about if you want to say it, if you're a woman? So you're not just going to say that you are azim. You can't just say you are azim. You need to say ana azimatun. We put this tet madbuta on the end. The tet madbuta is like the biggest clue that something is feminine. There are some exceptions outside of it. There are some things that have a tet madbuta that are masculine, very few, and there are some that don't have a tet madbuta that are feminine. But as a rule, stick a tet madbuta on the end, becomes feminine. So ana azimatun ala an akuna stays the same, right? Like when you're talking about yourself with a verb, it stays the same, right? So it's still akuna, but we can't say tabiban anymore because tabib is just a male doctor. So you need to say tabibatan. Tabibatan. You add a ta' marbuta onto the tabiba as well. And that would also be the case with tayyar as well. Tayyaratan as well. If you're a female pilot as well, you can have female pilots. Even in Saudi Arabia, where women weren't allowed to drive, they're allowed to be pilots. So yeah, you absolutely can have female pilots in all Arab countries, as well as tabibatan. You might even have more female doctors in most Arab countries, but I don't know. Okay, so anyway, so that's the phrase. That's the phrase for today. We're going to be doing a load of these. I really like just finding these phrases that we find. There's loads of Instagram accounts that have like phrase of the day and word of the day and stuff. And I'm just going to be taking a load of them, as well as a load of phrases from my new project, My Arabic World. And I'm just going to be unpicking them over the next few weeks, because these are videos that are kind of easy for me to plan, and I can put out loads of them. And I just think they're so useful. We learn so many new words from them, and we get to add a new phrase to our arsenal as well that we can memorize and use in our own conversations and stuff too. So that's it. In next week's lesson, we're going to be doing the phrase أكثر الحيوانات العربية مهددة بالانقراض. That's a phrase that I took from My Arabic World, and that's what we're going to be going over in our next phrase of the day lesson. See you guys then. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.